Imagine trying to learn football by reading the rule book before touching a ball. Sounds strange, right? But that's exactly how most people try to learn English. They spend months studying grammar and still can't have a simple conversation. Today, I'll show you why grammar is important, but why it should be never your first step.
Let's speak English.
Where is the station?
Hello everyone, welcome back to Easy English Real World. Today, I want to talk about something that surprises many English learners. Most people believe that grammar is the first thing they should study. They buy grammar books. They watch grammar lessons. They memorize grammar rules. But after months, or even years, they still cannot speak English naturally. Why? Because grammar is important, but grammar is not the first step. Let's discover why. When children learn their first language, something amazing happens. Nobody gives them a grammar book. Nobody teaches them verb tenses. Nobody explains sentence structure. Nobody says, "Today we will learn the present simple." Children simply listen. Every day, every hour. They hear words again and again and again. Little by little, they begin to understand. Then they copy what they hear. Then they speak. Only much later, they learn grammar in school. Think about it. Did you learn your native language by studying grammar? Of course not. You learned it by listening, then speaking. Grammar came much later. Now think about how many people learn English. On the first day, they open a grammar book. They learn about nouns, then verbs, then adjectives, then tenses. After that, they learn another grammar rule and another one. Months later, they know many rules. But when someone asks, "How are you today?" they become nervous. Their brain starts searching for grammar. They think, "Is this present simple? Should I use am? Should I say feel or feeling?" The conversation stops, not because they don't know English, but because they are thinking too much. Imagine you want to learn how to ride a bicycle. Would you read a book for 6 months before riding? Probably not. You would get on the bicycle. Maybe you would fall. Then you would try again. Little by little, your body learns. Speaking English works in a very similar way. You must practice. You must repeat. You must make mistakes. That is how your brain learns. Grammar is like a map. A map is useful, but first you need to walk. Imagine someone gives you a map of Paris. You study every street, every road, every bridge. Does that mean you have visited Paris? No, you only studied the map. Grammar explains the language, But grammar is not the language itself. Real English is listening. Real English is speaking. Real English is communication. Grammar simply explains why sentences work. Many learners say, I will start speaking after I learn enough grammar. But that day never comes. Because there is always another grammar rule, another tense, another exception, another lesson. Perfection becomes the enemy of progress. Instead, start speaking today, even if your English is simple, even if you make mistakes. Every mistake teaches you something. Every sentence makes you stronger. Let me ask you a question. Which sentence is better? I go to the store or saying nothing because you are afraid of making mistake. Most people think the second choice is better, but it is not. The first sentence has a mistake, yes, but communication happened. Someone understood you. That is real progress. The second person stayed silent. They learned nothing. Think about your favorite song. Maybe you can sing it. Maybe you know every word. Did you learn that song by studying grammar? No. You listened many times. Then your brain remembered it naturally. Language works the same way. The more you hear correct English, the more natural it becomes. So, what should you do? Here is a simple order. First, listen. Listen every day. Listen to simple English. Listen to stories. Listen to conversations. Listen again and again. Second, repeat. Repeat every sentence out loud, not inside your head. Use your voice. Your mouth must practice too. Third, understand the meaning. Don't translate every word. Understand the whole idea. Fourth, speak. Use short sentences. Use easy words. Don't wait to become perfect. Just speak. Finally, study grammar. Now grammar becomes much easier because you already know the language. Grammar simply gives names to patterns you already understand. This doesn't mean grammar is useless. Grammar is very helpful. It helps you write better. It helps you understand difficult texts. It helps you avoid mistakes. But grammar should support your speaking, not replace it. Grammar is your assistant. It should never become your boss. If you are a beginner, don't spend all your time memorizing grammar rules. Spend your time listening. Spend your time repeating. Spend your time speaking. That is exactly how children learn. And that is exactly why they become fluent. Starting today, I want you to try something. Instead of learning one grammar rule, Learn 10 useful sentences. Repeat them every day. Say them while walking. Say them while cooking. Say them in front of a mirror. Use them whenever you can. You will be surprised how quickly your confidence grows. Remember this simple sentence. Language comes first. Grammar comes later. Never forget it. The goal is not to know English. The goal is to use English. And the only way to use English is to start speaking today. Not tomorrow. Not next month. Today.
Growing Griston.
Aha! Great job! Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed today's Slow English podcast, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Easy English Real Word. And tell me in the comments, do you study grammar first or do you prefer listening and speaking first? I can wait to read the comments. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye bye.